Stay tuned for the latest message excerpt from josephprince.com.
For this year, the year of the sit back, relax, watch. The year of the latter rain. The year of the latter rain. Zechariah chapter 10, verse 1. Ask the Lord for rain in the time of the latter rain. The Lord will make flashing clouds, or in the Hebrew, lightnings. He will give them showers of rain, grass in the field for everyone. So I received this theme for this coming year last year. And boy, what a rainy time it's been. In times that you don't expect, when God gave me this last year, which is last month, and I was actually on my holidays, and the Lord told me about this coming year, I began to see all the fingerprints of God pointing to the latter rain. Latter rain means there is a former rain. We'll look at that afterwards. And then there's a latter rain. We are in the season of the latter rain. Are you ready? All right, first of all, God says, ask the Lord for rain in the time of the latter rain. The Lord will make flashing clouds, lightnings. And the Hebrew word here is lightnings. And only Young's translation of the Bible got it accurate. Young says, Jehovah is making lightnings, plural, lightnings. Amen? The lightnings will come and then the latter rain will fall. Now in Israel, let's look now at the first occurrence of rains. The former rain, the early rain, or the autumn rains, which is the early rain. And then the latter rain, which is the spring rain. Let's look at them now. This is the first occurrence of the latter rain in the Bible, so it's significant. God says, I'll give you the rain for your land in its season. Again, rain must fall in its season, people. In all these verses you read, you find that God talks about sending rain in its season. Like, do you know that if all year it rains, it's not good for the crop? All right, your paddy field, even though it needs rain for its cultivation and coming to a maturity, but it cannot have rain all the time. Most crops, all right, cannot have rain all the time. It'll be the harvest will be spoiled. Okay, so rains in Israel comes at 2 times, all right, in the Bible. Today they say 3 times, but it's twice. The Bible talks about twice. The year-end rains, which is the winter rains, or autumn rains, and then there is a spring rain. The early rain, God says, the early rain and the latter rain. The early rain in Hebrew is called yoreh, and we'll come to that, there's a meaning there. And the latter rain is called melkosh. The early rain comes during the months of October and November, and it's for cultivating the seed. So they plant the seed at that time, and they need the rain to cultivate the seeds, for the seeds to germinate. So they pray for rain. Now, it's very interesting that they pray for rain, because God says to them, remember the story, even in Deuteronomy 11, God says that I bring you out of Egypt, where you used to irrigate, all right, the fields with your foot. There's a picture here of the people irrigating with their foot, an old picture. That's how they used to do it. They don't look up, they look down. They look to their efforts. They look to their equipments. They look to the field. They look down. God says, I'm bringing you out of Egypt, a picture of the world, a place of bondage where God brought them out of bondage. And God says, I bring you to a land where the land drinks water from heaven. In other words, they're going to look up and depend on God. This year, we're going to look up and depend on Him for all the blessings. While the world is struggling with their own efforts, depending on their own smarts, their own wisdom, their own talent, their own energy, their own works, we're going to look to the Lord for His blessing. You see, animals, for example, they look down all the time. They look down. They cannot look up. But God designed man to look up. To look up. That's the idea of the word anthropos. It's the idea of upright man looking up. God made man to look to Him. So all the blessings of Canaan land depends on the rains. If the rains don't come, and there were occasions when they were under the law before Jesus came, they lived in the land of Israel, and there were times they sinned against God, and in such a overt way that God withheld the rains. If the rains are withheld, there is no crop. There's no crop, there's no prosperity for them. There's no means for them to live a good life. Amen? Because they are so dependent as people involved in husbandry and farming to depend on the rains. So for us, what's the meaning of rain? So here, the early rain, the word yoreh, literally means arrows, shooting arrows. So rain is like arrow, right? Right? But the word here, moreh, yoreh and moreh. Moreh is the word early rain, but also the word for teacher. If you go to Israel today, you go to a school, you hear the children greeting their teacher as Shalom Moreh. Shalom teacher. Moreh can mean what? From the word yoreh, early rain or teacher. Amen. Then the latter rain, which comes in the months of February and March. The early rain is October, November. The latter rain, of which we are talking about, comes in the months of March, late February usually, but most of the time March and April. And it's for the harvest. It's for the manifestation. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It's for the harvesting of the crops. God says that you may gather in your grain, your new wine, and your oil. Now, when you think of grain, you think of bread. Amen. When you think of new wine, that's where you get wine. And oil, literally, these things are real in Israel even today. This is their main staple. Amen. This is what they eat today. But God has a deeper meaning than just the natural. When you think of bread and wine, God is saying He's going to bless and you're going to see the manifestation of communion. You've been taking communion for a certain condition in your body. You're going to see the harvest of it, the manifestation of it this year. Because it's the year of the latter rain.
This excerpt is brought to you by josephprince.com. To get the full message, visit josephprince.com.